So this guy, St. Thomas Aquinas, was like, listen, boys, I'm going to tell you why land animals are no good during Lent, and you can fish it up, all right? And his justification was that land animals are tastier and therefore lustier, and therefore makes you like a lusty boy who wants to have sex because you're having land animals. So you should only eat fish because they taste worse than land animals and therefore are less lusty and will make you want to have less sex. And I'm like, okay, wow, this man is right.
Let me say, if that were to be a man today, I feel like this guy would just be a man who gets turned on by huge chunks of meat on his plate. Like a steak is just like, oh my God, that really gets me going, man. And today, they'd be like, all right, that's his weird fucking fetish. Back in the 1200s, he had to disguise that and be like, no, we all get pretty fucking turned on by this big hunk of meat. Right, guys?
His wife is like, Roger, how come every time we drive by Arby's, you slow down and stare out the window and like almost always rear end the person in front of you? What's that about?
It's like those Carl's Jr. and Hardee's commercials with the...
Yeah, those are super horny.
Yes, it's the woman and she has like a huge burger. This guy would just go insane for those commercials. He would go out of his fucking mind.
I feel that's the hair metal of fast food.
Oh, absolutely.
Hello and welcome to the Lyric Boys podcast. I am Lucien Flores and with me is Andrew Stieglitz, and this is a podcast where we take one of our favorite bands or musicians or solo acts, whatever, and we pick 10 of their funniest, their most ridiculous, their most absurd lyrics, and we talk about it. We use those lyrics for a jumping off point for decent to mediocre analysis, but grade A laughs, am I right? So this is going to be a doozy of an episode. This is going to be a solid episode. This is the type of episode you're going to want to tell your friends. We're going to cover Nirvana in this one. Andrew, you excited for Nirvana lyrics?
Absolutely.
Amazing. So before we get into it, I'll say wherever you're listening to this podcast, wherever you're watching this podcast, we appreciate it. We appreciate you tuning in. And if you can give us a little subscribe, a little follow, at your own pace. We don't want to rush this relationship. Once you feel comfortable.
Consent is the name of the game.
Hell yeah. The word is comfortable. That's what I was trying to say. Once you feel comfortable liking us, subscribing, following us, we'd appreciate that. That would make us feel really good. And hey, what's in it for you? You'll never miss an episode. They'll always come to you. The episodes will find you no matter where you are. They'll find you.
We will track you down.
Another place to find this podcast is on beatspermanent.com. They're a cool website for music and music reviews and stuff, and they've got good taste. And if you're feeling stagnant about finding music, go check them out. All right, that's it. That's everything. We're done with that. Andrew? Let's just say I'm somebody and I'm like, I don't know what Nirvana is. I've heard the name. I've seen the Bart Simpson parody Nevermind posters. But what is Nirvana?
Yeah. So if you are a person like that, I will say welcome to your first year of life on Earth. You probably don't speak English yet, but I'll try and communicate with you as best I can. So Nirvana, they were a band from around 1987 until 1994. And Wikipedia, our favorite website, will classify their genres as alternative rock, grunge, and hard rock.
Thanks, Wikipedia. Always looking out for us.
Yes, thank you. Wikipedia has the knowledge. So from what I understand, they were the biggest band on the planet in the early 90s. There was nobody bigger. I was obviously a wee tot at that time, but... Yeah.
Quite a wee tot.
Quite a wee tot. I know that they rose pretty meteorically, very quickly to absolute stardom by like 1991 with the release of their second album, Nevermind. So basically taking on a little journey through their career. They formed in 87 by Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic. They went through a number of drummers, including Chad Channing, who was the drummer on Bleach, and a number of singles released pre-Nevermind, Bleach being their first album. After Chad left, they ended up with Dave Grohl, the current frontman of the Foo Fighters. And he was their drummer until the end of their career in 94. And right after that, he went on to form the Foo Fighters, and he's continued to drum in bands like Queens of the Stone Age and a lot of other side projects.
Also, could you call Nirvana the daddies of grunge music?
I would call them. The
grunge. Do they plant the seed of grunge?
Yes, I think that grunge started and ended with them, pretty much. I mean, there were like bands who were sort of carrying on the torch in the late 90s, but after Nirvana collapsed, or I shouldn't say collapsed, after they disbanded, grunge sort of stopped becoming a thing. But more importantly than forming this new genre of grunge, what Wikipedia, our favorite website, would also say, which is, I'll give a little anecdote from my life too, is that, so this is pulled straight from Wikipedia, a cultural phenomenon of the 1990s. Nevermind was certified diamond by the RIAA, the Recording Institute of America, and is credited for ending the dominance of hair metal. So what's interesting
Twisted
about
Sister
that...
No more.
Yes, and what I love about that is that this is one of the things I love, besides just like everything about Nirvana. One of the things that I specifically love is that the 80s, especially 80s rock, was classified by very loud reverby drums. The snare drum just like being super...
the gated reverb?
Yes, super reverby. The guitars also being super reverby. The hair being stupid and ridiculous. The costumes being absurd. The ultimate cheesy, terrible, just like not... It just like threatening to end rock and roll as we know it, right? Bands like Twisted Sister and Quiet Riot and like all that. Whitesnake, yeah. And so Nirvana came in and they were like, fuck all of that shit. We're not going to do that. We are just going to play like what we understand as like classic punk rock. And that's what I think they were sort of trying to do when they first formed, is like just anything but that. And they ended up forming Grudge because they're very unique. But they were just like, anything that's not this terrible bullshit, please bring back rock from the dead. And so by bringing back rock from the dead, they had to kill the beast, which is hair metal. And what's interesting is that I interned at when I was in college, I interned at a classic rock radio station, 102.3 WBAB, which is a Long Island classic rock station. And I was
2.3 WBUB interned by Andrew Stieglitz.
That's right.
Andrew
WBAB.
On the mic.
Yes.
WAB.
And
WAP.
So what I would do was, shut the fuck up. So what I would do is shadow a DJ on one of the days of my internship. And I shadowed this guy who, if you're from Long Island, you know him. And I almost feel bad saying his name, but I'm going to say it because he's a nice guy. And he's been a DJ on BAB for a really, really long time. And his name was Fingers. That was his DJ name. Okay. And he's this like
Fingers on the Bab every weeknight on Long Island's only radio station.
Yeah. According to like people 50 and over, yes, that's Long Island's only radio station. So interning there, Nirvana was starting to become, this was in like 2012. They were starting to get some play on classic rock stations because it had been that long.
Mm-hmm.
And Fingers was like, man, when Nirvana came, Fingers was also like 50 years old, maybe even older, biker guy, super long blonde hair, tattoos, just like leather jacket wearing biker rocker dude.
I just want to know how he got his nickname, but that's for another time. That's for the Lyric Boys After Dark.
He actually told us, and it wasn't like sexual or anything. I honestly don't remember, but it was
I'm
just
sure
like,
it wasn't. It's probably
it was like a boring story
to control the music.
But he told me, he was like, man, when Nirvana came in, that's when it all went to hell. That's when rock died, in my opinion. And I was like, that's so interesting, because somebody, the generation before you or the generation younger than you, would say the equal and opposite thing, which is like, when Nirvana came in, that's when rock was reborn. That's when like that's when whatever was killing rock went to die, and rock became like a new thing, which I would 100% agree with.
I feel like there's this ebb and flow with rock music where it's like there's time periods where there's like popular rock that is just so cock rocky, right? Mm-hmm. It's like bravado and butt like rock. What?
Butt rock?
I said cock rock. Cock rock, but butt like, rock too.
Are you talking about like butt rock, the specific genre of butt rock? Do you know butt rock? I'm talking
about, no, I don't know that. I'm thinking like Led Zeppelin or even like The Who, and just like very like bands are going to wear really tight jeans and not wear shirts and just be very sexual, and like the rock music itself is going to have, the Rolling Stones going to be very sexual. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes like, oh, we're new wave now. We're all nerds and we use keyboards. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, we're coming back to super sexy, but this time even more sexy. Like we're Twisted Sister and we're like, our pants are tighter and we're more shirtless than before.
Yeah.
And then like Nirvana's like, all right, never mind. We're going to be unsexy again. And then it goes back and forth, right? And it's funny to meet people who are like so very much into one camp. Because I've met people that are like very into like, of course, I mean, those are great bands like Zeppelin and The Who and the Stones, whatever. Yeah, but there's people who like, that's the like who only want to be like a classic rock god, and that like time period has kind of passed, and it's fun to see that in like 2021.
Anyway, that's Nirvana. They were signed. Quick fun thing, they were signed to Sub Pop for Bleach, and Sub Pop is still a huge like indie record label that puts out a lot of great bands today.
Cool. I think one last thing to say about Nirvana is just that Kurt Cobain is one of those mythical figures in music history as well, right? He died, or he committed suicide at like 27 years old, part of the 27 Club, and I think that was one thing that digging to the lyrics I found pretty depressing, is like, because when his lyrics were depressing and then knowing how his life ends, you're like, oof, that's sad. And of course, we're probably going to avoid most of those. But that was definitely something because the Nirvana is a band I know, but I've never been like a huge Nirvana fan. Like they just weren't part of my life growing up. So it was fun to dig into it now and kind of listen to them for one of the first times in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway,
without further ado, you want to get into these lyrics?
Yeah, I do.
They do have some. Why I requested Nirvana, besides them being one of my favorite bands, is that they have, or Kurt rather, has absolutely insane lyrics. Besides the sad stuff, it's just like a lot of it is just like fucking crazy. So this is going to be fun.
I agree. So yeah, hit us with your first Nirvana lyrics, Andrew.
My first Nirvana lyric comes from the absolute classic song Lithium from the album Nevermind. And the lyric is, I'm so ugly, that's okay, 'cause so are you. And then later he goes, I'm so lonely, that's okay, I shaved my head. So some weird justifications there for feeling the way he's feeling. Little passive aggressive on the I'm so ugly, that's okay, so are you. I don't think
just a little bit, we're saying, even.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to hear that from a lover or a partner who's like feeling down about themselves, and they're like, please just tell me I'm beautiful because I just feel so ugly. But that's okay because so are you. It's like, whoa, I didn't even get to fucking compliment you yet.
It's like someone, yeah, you don't want that. You don't want someone to be like, oh man, I'm so fucking depressed and I'm ugly and nobody likes me. But then again, all those words describe you. So camaraderie, am I right? Friendship, it's the best.
Yeah, so maybe we should get together. Yeah. I'm so lonely, that's okay, I shaved my head. I feel like people actually do that. Like they're just like, I'm bored, I'm going to dye my hair a weird color.
Yes. Absolutely. There's definitely a thing when people are like kind of going through shit where they're just like the new me.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever like specifically taken a day and be like, here's my new look?
No, I very much don't want to do that.
Me neither.
In the sense that I think that I just don't want to make any like rash decisions. That's like, oh man, I'm feeling down or feeling different now. Let me do something different. Yeah.
Yeah. Even when I get a haircut, I'm like, oh my God, like, should I ask them for something different? There's always that thing in my head where I'm like, will today be the day that I ask for something different? And it never, ever, ever, ever is.
You got to do it.
What would I do?
Go out of your comfort zone.
What would I do? Just like, what if I just like shaved my head straight, like a line straight down the middle? So I have hair on either sides, but there's just like a half an inch of bald that's going all around my head.
That could be a
look.
That's the thing. You can totally do that. I've thought that too. Like, what would I look like as a shaved head man? And I've never seen that.
I did in 9th grade make the specific choice to grow my hair long, and kept it that way until like midway through college. And that was a specific choice. I remember that summer. I remember the summer going into 9th grade where I was like, this is going to be it. I'm getting long hair. And my family would all be like, wow, hair's getting long. When you getting that haircut? And I'd be like, when I'm 40, because I'm young and angsty.
That's the hair metal phase of your life.
Yeah, it was.
That was your hair,
sure.
your twisted sister phase, your white snake phase. You're like, here I go again on my own.
The only song I like from that era is We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister.
Yeah, it's a fun song. There's a couple that are like fun in moderation, or like if they came on at the right time under the right level of sobriety, you'd be like, hell yes. I'd rather
the right
hear
level
that
of lack of sobriety.
Yes, I'd rather hear that, for example, than like Journey, you know?
Oh my God. But Journey is part of that. They're not hair metal, but they're like part of that like cheesy rock.
Yeah.
80s rock. Bon Jovi is part of that. Although Living on a Prayer under the right sobriety and the right circumstances could get everybody singing.
Yeah. Although there's like some fun in it. There's some fun in that period of time. I do appreciate some good 80s cheese especially. There's another like lyric that you skip this one that also is like in the same part of the song that goes, I'm so happy because today I found my friends. They're in my head.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, oh, boy. You don't want to hear that from your like child or your friend.
Yeah, your kid comes home from school.
You're like, well, you look happier today. Like, you finally make new friends. And you're like, I did. They're all in my head. Well, great.
That's like The Shining.
Yes. It is like the type of thing a creepy child says in a horror movie. It's like, it's the ghost friend that always like tells him to murder.
You want to hit me with your second lyric?
My first lyric.
Oh, your first lyric.
Yeah. All right, don't rush me. Do not
so
even
sorry.
dare.
So sorry.
I deserve, my voice is powerful and I deserve a platform. All right, so my first Nirvana lyric comes from the album In Utero, and it's from the song Very Ape. And the lyric is, if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask someone else first. So, burn, an absolute burn.
Savage, bro.
It's, to me, there was a very specific vibe I got from that lyric, other than it's like funny tongue-in-cheek, is that it's the type of t-shirt I imagine like a kind of like a parent who thinks they're being like quote unquote naughty wears, who's like, like it's like I could either see that like on a t-shirt or on like one of those placards that someone puts on a wall and it's like, check it out. And
it's like one of those like souvenir t-shirt shop things that you see on like the Jersey Shore, where it's just like I used to like people and then they ruined it for me, or like one of those like that I would never ever wear.
No. Just to paint the picture, I have low standards for shirts. I am wearing a tie-dye shirt from Subway sandwiches, and still I would not wear a shirt of something that's just like, oh, humans, we all suck, ain't it true, King? Yeah. Like, I hate that vibe so much from shirts. Yeah. Because it's like, all right, just imagine you're wearing a shirt that says like, if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask someone first. And then like your car catches fire and a fire truck goes by and you're like waving it down. And it's like the irony of ever needing something from anyone when you have a shirt that like, I'm a solo king. Like, no one bother me. I won't bother you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it just screams, those kinds of shirts just scream like, I have never ever looked at a woman in my life.
Or I've never had a friend other than the ones in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a shirt I sometimes see in the tourist shops of New York City. If you know that city,
Heard of
shout out. But you've probably seen this shirt. It just says "fuck your fucking face."
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, probably won't wear that around town.
Who's fucking buying that shit?
Because the New York City is like, their image of New York City is just like everybody walking around muttering "fuck your fucking face" under their breath, which isn't untrue. But
it's also like, if you wear a shirt, sort of a poser thing, right? Like if you have to wear a shirt that says "fuck your fucking face," then you don't say it often enough in your life in a real sense to warrant wearing that shirt, if that makes any sense. I
feel like all this could also be a bumper sticker.
Mm-hmm.
I would love like a therapist wearing this shirt though. And they show up to like their session and their like patient says something and they're just like, nope.
I would prefer a therapist that had a tie-dye Subway sandwich shirt, because that is warm and inviting.
Yes, I think we would all prefer that over a shirt that says "please don't hesitate to ask someone else first."
I did like those shirts when I was younger. Like going to I specifically remember there was a souvenir shop in Lake George, New York, upstate.
Oh, yeah, shout out Lake George.
Shout out. We used to go there quite often for a number of summers when I was younger to vacation. And there was always this one t-shirt shop which was massive on like the main street. Yeah. And it had all of those types of shirts. And I thought a lot of them had like raunchy stuff on it, like curses and stuff. And I just thought as like a 10-year-old, I was like, this is the funniest place in the world.
It's clever, man. I love it. This is the best place in the world. The funniest. Oh man, love it.
You want to hear my second lyric?
Yes. Yes, I do.
My second lyric is from the song. One of probably my favorite Nirvana song, but it's kind of a toss-up, so I'm not sure. I will say one of my favorites. The song Breed off of Nevermind. And the lyric is, I don't mean to stare, we don't have to breed. We could plant a house, we could build a tree. I don't even care, we could have all three. And this just sounds like a guy who's so absolutely out of his mind, blindly horny that he can't even think. He confuses his words. He's like, we don't have to have sex or anything. I'm fine. I'm strong.
To me, this kind of comes across as like a weird Dr. Seuss novel. It's because like it's the guy from Green Eggs and Ham. It's the guy from Green Eggs and Ham, like in his like adulthood, like after puberty. Because in that book, he's just talking in rhymes. He's like, he's suggesting absurd things that don't really make sense. He's freaking offering green eggs and ham, like that's a thing. Then he's older and he's like pounding the same dude again. And he's like, we could plant a house, we can build a tree, we can have all three. And the guy's like, all right, stop fucking coming on to me. Like I rejected you years ago. Just stop. All right.
One of the words I don't think Dr. Seuss would use, but maybe he would, I don't know, is probably the word breed. I think that's like, unless he's talking about like, we need to breed more green eggs and ham so that we can continue. Like a weird word for like make more of.
There's something just so off-putting about the word breed.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible word.
Like if you see a pregnant woman and you go up to her and you're like, oh, dear lady, did you breed? I see you may have made a fawn.
You tip your fedora and you say, "Milady, I see you have bread today."
Or like a pushy parent that's like, when are you going to give me kids instead of that? Or like, when are you going to give me a grandkid? It's like, when are you going to breed?
It's a good word to use on a farm. A bad word to use literally everywhere else.
I feel like planting houses and building trees is the future, though. That's where technology is going to bring us.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
All right. You want to hear my second lyric?
Yeah, I do.
It's from Nevermind, the album. And it's from the song In bloom. So the lyric is, he's the one who likes all our pretty songs. And he likes to sing along, and he likes to shoot his gun, but he don't know what it means. Don't know what it means. And I say, yeah. All right. So yeah, this song is about like Nirvana fans, or who just people who like the music but don't really know what it means, right? So once again, the lyric boys, that's who we're talking about.
Absolutely.
People who listen to the lyrics and don't understand any of them.
And this song could be 100% about us.
This should be our theme song.
Yeah.
But I do like that image, because there are plenty of people who don't listen to song meanings or lyrics or anything, right? And they're like, damn, this song is so good. And when you look at the lyrics, you're like, wait a minute, that's bizarre. And I mean, yes, that was the impetus for the podcast, is listening to music we like and being like, wait a minute, that's the lyric? That's nuts. But this has someone shooting his gun, right? So like, I'm imagining just like some like good old country boy on the back of a nice pickup, shooting a gun, drinking some American lagers, listening to like just classic anti-gun songs like Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, being like, this song slaps. This is American music. Ohio is a state I respect and love. And I'm shooting my gun.
What is funny about that is that shit happens all the time. All the time I see comments, people being like, you know, this band needs to stay out of politics, or like Rage Against, like Tom Morello is like super active on Twitter and Instagram politically, and people are like, dude, just stick to making music. And it's like, he's in a band called Rage Against the fucking Machine. What do you think his whole entire agenda? He has a guitar that literally says "Arm the Homeless." What do you think his agenda is? He
doesn't like PCs. He just wants to smash them or something, like Office Space. That's what I assume is his vibe.
Think. Yeah.
Well, speaking, I mean, I was honestly thinking of Paul Ryan. So if you don't know who Paul Ryan is, he's a former Republican congressman, and he said in an interview his favorite band is Rage Against the Machine, who is basically like,
that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, and Tom Morello was like, who do you think the machine I'm talking about is? like, sir, you embody the machine.
How, man, imagine that. Imagine being that fucking stupid. And then not only imagine being that stupid, because look, we're stupid, but we're not that stupid. And being that self-unaware, that like, then imagine being that self-unaware and having somebody vote for you who is arguably more unself-aware and more stupid, because they're like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
The other image I got was like a cop just blasting like "Run the Jewels," and it made me laugh.
Cop blasting, fuck the police.
There's
like that scene in Superbad.
Yeah.
When they bust in the party and he's dancing to "Fuck the Police," or he's dancing to one of those songs. My third lyric is from the song "Milk It" from the album In Utero.
It's coincidentally my favorite verb.
To milk?
Yes. Favorite command, rather.
Can you milk my cereal real quick? It's a little dry. The lyric is, I own my own pet virus. I get to pet and name her. Her milk is my shit. My shit is her milk. And this sounds like an elementary school like show and tell, where a really fucked up 5-year-old is presenting his imaginary friend, possibly one of the friends who lives in Kurt Cobain's head. And it is alarming.
His milk is my shit. My shit is his milk. It's a beautiful thing. We get along great.
Like, Tommy, maybe we should talk to your parents about your friend who is your pet virus.
Pet virus. Great foresight by Kurt Cobain to predict COVID.
That's right. Yeah, I don't. Have you ever done a show and tell ever in your elementary school years?
I showed my talents and I told my truth, and everybody loved me.
Wow.
But
that's mature for an elementary school.
I don't remember particularly. Oh, yeah. I remember once. I didn't really bring anything that exciting, but nor do I remember any hijinks worthy of telling on this podcast. All right. So cut that crap, Stieglitz, and ask me a more interesting question. No, one thing I will say, though, unless do you have a show and tell story?
No, I don't. I actually.
All right. So, pet virus. Viruses are tiny. Not really great pets. Probably one of the worst that you can have, but let's just say you can like supersize viruses to make them as big as, say, like a guinea pig. Would you then at all be interested in owning a pet virus?
Besides the fact that it would try and kill me all the time, it's probably worse than owning like a pet monkey, you know, because people do that and they definitely try and kill you. But a virus is like specifically designed to kill you. So probably not.
I do not want a pet virus. I don't think it would enjoy being pet, nor would it be a good lap animal. One thing that I saw the other day, I think I told you about this when we were in the Everglades, but there was this video I saw about this dude in Pennsylvania who has like a therapy alligator, which is not a thing. And I think he just like felt like he just like paid money online to like get a card that's like, my alligator is a therapy support alligator. The video was super charming. I was charmed by this friendly alligator that just sits there all day and does nothing. And the guy's like, this alligator is my best friend. We get along so well. I bring him to bars. People play with him. People take pictures with him. And alligators are just, let's just say, animals that don't feel love for anything or anyone, or
much like really, yourself.
Yeah, just like myself. Me and alligators, two peas in the same pod, baby. Alligators are my shit, and I'm alligator's milk or whatever. And the video, just this fucking alligator looks so docile and peaceful, but it's just like, all right. That's like one of those things like similar to like Kurt Cobain's depressing lyrics where you're like, this is going to end badly. Someone needs to come in here and like give this guy a dog or like a chihuahua, like a guinea pig or any animal, a hamster, like give him three hamsters. All right. Like
that is the type of guy where if anybody tried to take away his pet alligator, if any kind of government agency came in and was like, hey, this is going to kill you, you really can't have it, he'll be like, I'll fucking kill myself before you government pigs get me.
It's the type of thing you see on Twitter, like the government takes away this man's alligator and people are like heartbroken to hear about this man whose poor alligator was taken from me. That alligator gave him so much joy, like free gator. And then they give the gator back, and it's like the gator kills him in 2 years. And they're like, well, that's how he wanted to go out, doing what he loved. Fucking his gator.
We interviewed the gator, and he's actually super racist. So fuck that gator.
Yeah.
Who's up? Is it you? I think you're up.
It's me. I just laughing. I'm laughing at your jokes, all right? And if I'm laughing, then hopefully the audience is laughing. And if they're not, well, we'll do better, all right? We'll do better. We'll be better for you, okay? So let's try. My third lyric is from Something in the Way from Nevermind.
Great.
The lyric.
Song. Quiet song.
Yeah, it is a quiet song. It's one of their slow jams, if you will. This is the type of Nirvana song that would play at a school prom when you're trying to get a little romantic.
Okay. So, probably not, but okay.
The DJ's just like, all right, these kids, this is what they want.
Yeah.
The lyric is, and I'm living off of grass and the drippings from the ceiling. It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings. So, once again, not in a great state. A lot of these songs, I'm just like not in a great state. But this is the type. So, the first thing I thought of was like, it sounds like a cult leader who's just like bullshitting things. And it's just like, all right, here's how you live, and here's how you get to heaven. Eat grass. All right, this is healthy. Drippings off the ceiling. They come from God.
From God. Yeah.
Because and also, like, where can you eat drippings off of ceilings other than like caves?
One thing we do in this cult is we make really hot soup and then we splash it all over the place, and whatever drips from the ceiling, that is manna from God.
It is manna from God. And then it's okay to eat fish. They don't have any feelings. He's just like, this guy's just like spouting everything. It's like, all right. Here's my religion. I made it.
Hastily done.
Yes. It is. There are the things like that are in religions that you're just like occasionally happen. And you're like, why did we decide that? So
yeah, that's like a lot of traditions.
Yeah.
They're just like, I don't get it. But some guy 2,000 years ago like blinked twice, and now we all have to blink twice.
Hell yeah, we put the Christmas tree up, and then this rotund man with his army of elves gives me presents. Fuck yeah.
I think that's a great tradition, the Christmas tree. I genuinely love a good Christmas tree.
I would love a nice year-round tree, though. I think other holidays need to start getting in the tree game. So this lyric took me down a big Googling rabbit hole that I spent too much time on. All right, so I found a bunch of debates about people debating the ethics of whether you can eat fish or not, which is, it's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
The unemployment rate is very high. And these are what the people are doing with their time.
It was a lot of people getting very mad at each other, and it's very funny to observe. And
just for no fucking reason. Basically,
people would like... First of all, there are people who are like confused about what a vegetarian is, and they just go on the internet and be like, why do vegetarians eat fish? Or they'll be like, is it vegetarian to eat fish? Which, like, no, right? Because vegetarian is someone who doesn't eat any animals, right? And then people would get very mad, and then I found like an angry vegan message board, and then I just found a lot of things that were very funny, but I found a story. All right, this rabbit hole took me to a story, so there's a purpose here.
All right, okay, I'm excited for the story.
The story is of Saint Thomas Aquinas,
okay,
who was a friar from Italy in the 1200s. All right, you heard of him?
Nope.
You heard of this?
Genuinely have not heard of him. But okay.
So there's a thing in the Christian religion and during Lent where you're not allowed to eat like, or part of Lent, I don't really know, but you're not allowed to eat like cows and beef and pigs, but you're allowed to eat fish, right?
Okay.
So this guy Saint Thomas Aquinas was like, listen, boys, I'm going to tell you why land animals are no good during Lent, and you can fish it up, all right? And his justification was that land animals are tastier and therefore lustier, and therefore makes you like a lusty boy who wants to have sex because you're having land animals. So you should only eat fish because they taste worse than land animals and therefore are less lusty and will make you want to have less sex. And I'm like, okay, wow. This man is right.
Let me say, back in those days, okay, we didn't understand individual thought of like, some people have weird fetishes, some people have certain mental illnesses that we don't quite understand. We just think every person thinks and acts basically the same way we do, right? That was the thought back in like the 1200s or whatever. If that were to be a man today, I feel like this guy would just be a man who gets turned on by huge chunks of meat on his plate. Like a steak is just like, oh my God, that really gets me going, man. And today, they'd be like, all right, that's his weird fucking fetish. Back in the 1200s, he had to disguise that and be like, no, we all get pretty fucking turned on by this big hunk of meat. Right, guys?
His wife is like, Roger, how come every time we drive by Arby's, you slow down and stare out the window and like almost always rear end the person in front of you? What's that about?
It's like those Carl's Jr. and Hardee's commercials with the...
Yeah, those are super horny.
Yes, it's the woman, and she has like a huge burger. This guy would just go insane for those commercials. He would go out of his fucking mind.
I feel that's the hair metal of fast food.
Oh, absolutely.
Along with the like Coors Light Twins commercials where they would just cut to sing good things about football and beer, and then just cut to two women and go and twins, and like there was a guitar solo, and everyone at home was like, yes, twins, the pinnacle of existence of happiness is twins.
Yeah, I mean those the hair metal audience is the audience that goes for like that stuff. That's like, honey, we gotta get Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Fucking look at this hot lady selling me burgers.
Hell yeah, I go Starbucks every day when they got that broad on the cup. Am I right, fellas?
I want to see a Starbucks commercial with that same lady, and she just pours scalding hot coffee all over herself.
I wanted to start a religion now devoted to like this vibe of hair metal and twins, where twins are just like enlightenment. It's like heaven is twins.
Yeah, I remember that commercial a little bit and just being like, I don't understand. Like, is this something that men... I'm a straight man, but like, I don't understand. Do other straight men... Like, what's going on? What is happening?
Yeah. Nothing like a Carl's Jr. or Hardee's commercial to just be a really extremely long 30 seconds that you're like, all right, this is weird.
Really uncomfortable, too, because you'll be like watching like with NBC your, like, News at 6 with your grandma, or like watching Jeopardy, and then just like porn comes on your TV with like a burger. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? It's 7:15.
And your grandfather is just like, he's already gone. He's out the door.
He comes in with like 50 Carl's Jr. burgers.
Yeah.
So, yes. So my fourth lyric, I believe, is from the song Mexican Seafood, which is a deep cut because it's from the album Insecticide, which is a compilation album of non-album singles that were just sort of released sporadically. And so these lyrics are, now I vomit, cum, and diarrhea on the tile floor like oatmeal pizza. Oh, fill my toilet bowl full of a cloudy pus. I feel the blood becoming chowder rust. I gotta actually say, I didn't think that the lyric would get me the way it did. Like, reading it and saying it, like, my stomach actually kind of hurts right now. But it just reminded me of a guy who his brain just got so fucked up from too much Taco Bell that he doesn't even know how to describe what's happening to him right now.
We've been there. We've all been there.
We've all been there.
I was almost there like Monday night on Memorial Day.
Interesting to sing about, a bad Taco Bell experience, perhaps. Mexican Seafood. I mean, he was just like, yeah, I'll try the Filet-O-Fish from Taco Bell.
So, yeah, let's just like ignore for a moment vomiting, cum, and diarrhea and cloudy puss. But basically, I just want to talk about oatmeal pizza.
Oh my god, dude, that actually got me because the visual of that, like that, it like,
I'm just imagining a nice little oatmeal pizza served at my favorite Italian restaurant. And then when you order an oatmeal pizza, they slap you and they're like, what's the matter? You ordering this oatmeal pizza?
That's what I was going to say. What do you think the Italians would like more? You ordering oatmeal pizza or pineapple on pizza? Because I feel like Italians get triggered by pineapple on pizza. They do. Like, oh, what's the matter? Why put a pineapple on it? Hey.
All right, so Stieglitz and I follow a bunch of Italian American influencers on and meme accounts on Instagram that are just like the lowest base of humor, like just the worst jokes, like truly just like the worst, least funny jokes, and then we send them to each other and it'll be like, wow, relatable.
Yeah,
and half of them are about like a pineapple on pizza and like grandma's crying and dying.
Yeah, yeah. There was there's one TikTok where it was like, my boy got me a Olive Garden gift certificate, and now we're not friends anymore. And that was the TikTok. That was the whole thing.
Hell yeah. Then again, my family thought The Sopranos were awesome because whenever he opened the fridge and went, "Where's the gabagool?" they were like, "That's just like how it was growing up." And I'm not being sarcastic. They said that about that moment, and all my cousins and aunts and uncles were like, "Yes, that was so funny. I love that." Which I love that too. We all love pondering where's the gabagool. It's one of the biggest questions of the universe.
Where is the spiritual gabagool, if you will?
So another lyric in the song too is "only hurts when I pee." So not a great day for this guy.
It affected him so much it gave him gonorrhea.
It only hurts when he pees. Also, just like it's such a blasé, like oh, don't worry about it. It only hurts when I pee. Like.
They're
Joey,
like, sir?
You broke your arm. That thing hurt on what? It's like, nah, only when I pee.
Like, sir, did you fuck this meal? Did you stick your penis into this beautiful Taco Bell meal? It's like, what? You're telling me you don't also get turned on by fine meats on your plate? Me and St. Thomas from the 1200s, we both get turned on by it. It's totally normal.
Listen, in the Catholic religion, you can't have beef because beef is too sexy, all right?
Yeah,
this whole song is...
That's why Jews don't eat pork.
Too sexy?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
This whole song is what?
This whole song is filled with just terrible imagery. Terrible imagery. Like, just disgusting, gross, vile imagery. Like, there's another lyric that's like, "roll into my bed," which does consist of lice, bugs, and fleas, and yellow mucus, stained dirt, Vaseline, toe jam, and booger, stomach acid worms that dance in sugared sludge. I just love the idea of "and booger."
That's also very Dr. Seussian.
Yeah, Kurt
like
Cobain.
Stomach acid worms that dance in sugared sludge. Wow, it's just like Willy Wonka. Which is not Dr. Seuss, I understand. But it's if Dr. Seuss wrote Willy Wonka.
That's Ronald Dahl, son.
Rolled.
Get your beloved rolled.
Whose fucking parents? Why? What's wrong with his parents? Why is his name Rolled?
Get your beloved children's authors correct.
I gotta Google
All
Rolled
right.
Dahl.
You're
fucked up if your name is Rolled. Sorry, he's beloved, but like change your name, Rolled.
He's dead, all right. So feel ashamed.
Damn.
You killed him with your hate. All right, so I'm just gonna pick the entirety of the song "Sliver," which is also a non-album single. Which hashtag some hot non-album singles in your neighborhood. Anyway, I don't know why I talk the way I do. So the song "Sliver," basically, it's a short song where the story of the song is a child or a disgruntled teen, but I'm gonna assume it's a child gets dropped off at his grandpa's grandparents' house and just wants to go home. So the opening verse is, "When mom and dad went to a show, they dropped me off at Grandpa Joe's. I kicked and screamed, said, 'Please don't go.' Then the chorus comes in, which is just, 'Grandma, take me home. Grandma, take me home. Grandma, take me home.'" All right. So then other parts of the song are like, all right, then he's forced to eat dinner there and he has mashed potatoes and he couldn't really chew his meat that well. Then later his grandma's like, "Why don't you stop your crying? Go outside and ride your bike." "That's what I did. I killed my toe." So he got hurt riding his bike. Mm-hmm. And then after that, he has ice cream. He falls asleep and he watches TV and he wakes up in his mom's arms. Right. So great. He's finally in his mom's arms.
Happy ending.
Very happy ending. But there's just something so funny about this song that's just like from the perspective of an 8-year-old or whatever who does not want to be at his grandma's house and is just shouting to be taken home. Because that's relatable. I feel like I have a memory of that age. Mm-hmm. Like,
me too.
Being super young and being dropped off at my grandparents' house, being like, "I want to go home. I want to go home."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was actually going to say, like, I don't always relate to Nirvana lyrics. There are a couple of songs here and there that I do, but this one particularly is relatable. I definitely have memories of like being dropped off at grandma's. Like my parents go, like when I was very young, my parents going away on vacation and stuff, and just being like, I don't want to be here. Like I want to go home.
Yeah. Kids are little shits. Can't enjoy their grandparents. This kid's having a fucking great day. All right, so this kid got dropped off at the house. That's fine. That's a normal thing. Mm-hmm. Then he eats dinner. He gets mashed potatoes and stuff like that. You mean good foods? Great, delicious, nutritious, fun foods. He had meat as well. A fucking lusty ass meat. That's great. Then later he gets to ride a bike, and then he has ice cream and he watches TV. Like, that is a full, glorious day for this child. And the whole time he just wants to go home.
Ungrateful brat. Great. Talking about like great vibes of, I love a lyric like mashed potatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love Kurt Cobain heavily growling in his like Kurt voice about how he had ice cream.
Yeah.
What a vibe. I couldn't chew my meat too good. Like, just what a great thing to put in a song.
There's like, this is a fun thing to quote whenever you're just like not in a good mood, or you're just like kind of bored or something. Like you're in a place you don't want to be, or you're like waiting at a doctor's office. You're just like, Grandma, take me home.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of talking about food in a like growly voice of that System of a Down song we did about pepperoni pizza. What was that one again? What was that called?
It was called Chicken Stew.
Where he talks about opening the fridge and the butter's getting hard, but he just growls it in the most devilish.
Butter's getting hard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that. Stuff like that.
Grandma Take Me Home should be our generation's Serenity Now. When you're sitting, you just go, Grandma Take Me Home.
I was thinking about this lyric, thinking about how this child is in a good situation. He just wants to go somewhere else, right? He's suffering. He doesn't want to be there anymore. And I thought, wow, what a poignant feeling when you could be enjoying the stuff that's in front of you, but you just got to have Grandma take you home, huh? That's all you want. And I was like, how relatable. And you and I were texting about this lyric about Grandma Take Me Home. And I wrote something to you that I thought was really dumb that I just wanted to say on the podcast, which was just the idea of like a spiritual guru talking to this child, talking about the situation. And all I wrote to you was, when there is suffering, there is the childlike desire for Grandma to relocate one's physical body and internal egoic spirit to one's residential domicile. Wouldn't you agree, Andrew?
One day after Earth, like 1,000 years from now, Earth is blown up. Or maybe like next year, I don't know. They will find relics of past societies. And the Lyric Boys will be one of those relics. And they'll read this and they'll be like, these men must have been their gods. And they will listen and be like, this is how we should live our life. Grandma, take me home. That's what I think.
Hell yeah. Can you give me your final Nirvana lyric? The audience wants it. I want it. Let's do it.
Okay, well... it's come to this, hasn't it? Yeah, my final Nirvana lyric was hard to pick because there are so many. We can do like 3 parts, just like a lot of bands that we do. But I ultimately chose the song Scentless Apprentice from the album In Utero. One of the most famous Nirvana songs.
Scentless Apprentice sounds like someone who can really train to be a great sanitation expert. Am I right? Boom.
I would love...
If you work in waste management, please DM us.
I'd love a nice custodian who was a scentless apprentice. The lyric is, like most babies smell like butter, his smell smelled like no other. He was born scentless and senseless. He was born a scentless apprentice. And then every wet nurse refused to feed him. Electrolytes smell like semen. I promise not to tell your perfumed secrets. There are countless formulas for pressing flowers. I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's just one of those where it's like I don't know. But also, I don't think that most babies smell like butter. So that was something I just felt like we should say. Kurt Cobain maybe struggled with a sense of smell. Because if he was holding an infant and he said, "This smells like butter," that's alarming.
Here, meet your nephew. Hold him in your arms for the first time. Oh, man, this thing smells like butter. All right, give us back that nephew, please.
And never hold him again.
And he's slippery like butter, too, am I right? I dropped the baby for a joke, and everyone gets mad at me. What's up? I'm just trying to be a fun uncle. Fun uncle dropped the baby once and whatever. Yeah, I definitely feel like the person from the song In Bloom with the last like 4 Nirvana lyrics that we've done, because I was enjoying listening to the songs, but I don't understand any of it, and I looked at the lyrics, and I went to college and I learned to read and I learned to write, and I still do not understand them. All right, so
yeah, we're not that stupid. We have bachelor's degrees from like a good university. So yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
There's street smart and there's textbook smart, and I guess we are
none of those.
Yeah. So Kurt Cobain clearly loves talking about gross ass things.
Yeah, I feel like he like thinks it's funny to put that in a song, especially because these songs became so famous that he's like, what if I just like put the grossest imagery?
Yeah. Especially because I guess with hair metal, if you're thinking of this as like after hair metal wasn't about like butter or oatmeal pizza or cloudy puss or any of these other things. So, you know, but there's also every wet nurse refused to feed him. I could just imagine like the spawn of Satan being passed around and everyone being like, nah, like I'm not gonna feed that baby. That baby's fucking red and has horns and a fucking tail and a little trident.
Or maybe the baby really did smell like butter and every nurse is like, I can't fucking deal with this. I can't hold your baby to feed him. He smells like straight up Breakstone's unsalted butter. All right, you want to hit me with your 5th lyric?
Yeah, I guess I do.
All right.
So my 5th lyric comes from the song Dumb on the album In Utero. Mm-hmm. So the lyric is, I'm not like them, but I can pretend. The sun is gone, but I have a light. The day is gone. The day is done, but I'm having fun. I think I'm dumb. Then the chorus is, or maybe just happy. Think I'm just happy. Think I'm just happy. Think I'm just happy. All right. So let's just pull. The day is done, but I'm having fun. I think I'm dumb, or maybe just happy. It is a vibe, right? It's like, I shouldn't be happy, but I am happy. So that must mean I'm fucking idiotic, because what's there to be happy about when fucking we got lusty ass cows walking around? We're making all our teens horny.
That is the absolute most number one thing to be sad about is these fucking thick cows walking around with their honking meat swinging udders. Yeah,
they got 6 udders. That's too many.
Don't get me started on a steak, just like an actual like medium rare steak. Kids just fucking go crazy horny for that.
Yeah, but so I do feel like I've heard people like say this kind of stuff non-ironically, and I almost feel like this lyric might be slightly non-ironic, but like there's like people you meet in college. It's like the only type of person who can be happy is a dumb fucking idiot.
There are so many people that I've met in BU like that.
Hell yeah, Boston University. Heard of it? We have. Yeah, that's a definitely vibe I would like see in college too. Where it's like, what are you smiling about, fucking dumbass? Just because you're watching an Adam Sandler movie and it's funny, you think you can laugh and have a good time? Well, you can't, because the rainforest is fucking being destroyed, king.
Yeah, I hate that people base their personality sometimes on just feeling like superior, like I'm smarter than you, therefore I'm sadder than you, and therefore I'm better than you. Although I don't necessarily think that is what Kurt is saying here. I think that he's depressed.
Yeah.
And he's saying I'm not like them because he's like, I can't be happy because I'm depressed. But so a lot darker. But there is that type of person who's not necessarily struggling with like a clinical mental illness, and they're just struggling with the illness of straight up, I'm fucking better than you, bro, because like I fucking read a book and like the environment is going to shit and like capitalism is like bad and shit. And it's like, bro, we're all fucking slaves to the system. Like, fucking wake up, sheeple.
There's also just that vibe. There's like the type of person who's always just like, what are you laughing about? What are you smiling about? They just can't have anyone laughing or smiling in their vicinity.
My 7th grade science teacher called me Smiley because I would smile a lot.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that is when my spirit started to be crushed.
You're like, what do you got a problem with? Yeah, I'm Smiley. So what? I'm having a good time. Science fucking rocks. Now show me. Let me dissect this frog and friggin' be giddy as shit, all right?
If you're a teacher, wouldn't you rather have a smiley kid than like a moody, depressed one? Because I was a smiley kid.
Yeah. You'd rather have a smiley kid than I could think of other options of things you wouldn't want in a school in these times. So a smiley boy, a smiley kid, a smile child who loves to learn. That's what we're in it for, right?
You're talking about
that's
like a
why
cow.
we teach.
You don't want like a straight up thick ass fucking honking utter cow walking through those schools. Kids go crazy. Everybody starts trying to fuck.
Another thing about this song is it also has the phrase, I'm not like them, which you sometimes hear people who are like kind of like trying to be like different, who are like, I'm not like those other people, I'm different. And you know, those other people, they laugh and have a good time, but I sit and I brood. I brood, and that makes me special and unique.
I watched An Inconvenient Truth, okay? I'm not like them.
Yeah. And son, yeah, you are. You're like them. Don't we exist all in this earth together, occupying the same time and space? Then boy, we got so much in common. You're just like them.
I want you to put out like a spiritual self-help tape, but in that voice for like 10 hours. Just be like,
you know how badly I do want to do that. I think the idea of like one of those Italian American influencers that we talk about, or like a gruff macho man being a spiritual self-help guru that like gives actually good advice, is hilarious to me. It's like, bro, like maybe that guy who cut you off in traffic, like he's got stuff going on and it's not an affront to you. Maybe he didn't even see you. So bro, like take that middle finger out of the air, stop honking, stop shouting, and think like, man, I wish that Honda Civic happiness.
Consider this. All we are is love. We are the physical embodiment of love and spiritualities. And if you're gonna go around creating hates and creating bad things, bad vibes, that's like opening the fridge and eating a rotten gabagool. Why you gotta go do that?
I love it.
Preview my new audiobook. Tommy Tabatino reads spiritual.
I do think this needs to be a thing that we do. We'll sidebar, all right? This is our music podcast, but we'll sidebar.
We're going to do another podcast of these two characters, the most obnoxious people on the planet that nobody will want to listen to for more than 5 seconds.
But it's like really good advice. It's like Oprah's favorite thing.
We read like actual like passages from the Bible and like discuss them, not in a funny way, like in a way that's just like, damn.
All right, so fucking Leviticus, am I right? Goofy ass name, but big ass meaning.
So God was testing Job, but what that actually means is that you're gonna be tested a lot in life, and you have to be stronger than that.
All right, I think I'm dumb. Or maybe just happy. You can be dumb and happy, or you can be happy, I guess. I don't know. What am I trying to say?
I think you're trying to say it's time to make our own Nirvana lyrics.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So, Lyric Boys, Content Hounds. If you've been a content hound for a while, you know what this is. If you're new, if you stumbled upon this podcast, and if you're having a good time because you made it this far, this is the part of the podcast where me and Andrew Boy over there, we improvise our own version of Nirvana lyrics. Like, so basically we write a made-up Nirvana song or a made-up Nirvana lyric that we think fits their vibe. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little second. We'll be back. This is completely off the dome. You got to trust us, okay? Hello. We're back. We took this was a short one. We wrote these really fast. I feel like we only took 45 seconds to write these made up Nirvana lyrics, and I'm excited to read them.
Yeah, I tried to go with, I feel like Kurt Cobain has a lot of specifics in his lyrics where it's just random nouns and verbs that you're like, that's a weirdly specific choice. Like a baby that smells like butter. So that's kind of what I tried to channel here.
All right, we got the Buttery Baby song by Andrew Stevens.
You want to go?
I want you to go. You're just talking about channeling the energy. I want to see what it's like.
My song is called my song is called Slap.
All right.
And it goes, slap myself silly with this grass that I grew. Spit blood from my mouth and my teeth fell out too. Cut up my eggs with a 2-pronged fork. Slap my own ass because I feel like a dork.
Slap my own ass because I feel like a dork is just anthemic. I feel like that's the type of thing that you get in trouble at school and your stupid 7th grade teacher that says stop smiling yells at you and you'll just yell you walk out the room, you slap your ass, you turn around and you say slap my own ass because I feel like a dork.
Yeah. A vibe. That's a vibe.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
2-pronged fork though, I don't like that.
A 2-pronged fork. Yeah, it conveys a sense of discomfort. Right? It's why also cut up my eggs. I don't think that anybody would do that anyway. So it's just
we just pop them in whole like a normal person.
I'm picturing fried eggs. The way that eggs taste good.
I'm picturing boiled hard-boiled eggs. Just pop them in.
Just suck it right in.
All right, so my song is called Bed Sheets.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to channel the grossness of Nirvana.
Okay.
Milky wet sheets covered in fresh DEET. Roll around and lay in it. Bugs can die, bugs be gone. Tired of bites, tired of mites. Want to stop being itchy. Then I'll be less bitchy. Grandma, take me home.
Oh, call back to another. Call back. So what is DEET?
DEET is a form of insect repellent that is just very strong.
Okay. All right. You're rolling around in DEET. I like it. I like that.
DEET,
yeah.
Also known as N-diethylmetatolamide. Also called DEET. Yep. All right. We're calling it DEET. Most common ingredient in insect repellent. All right. So, yeah, it's about bed bugs, which is a gross thing that I could see Nirvana singing about.
And the image of rolling around in it, gross.
Yeah, I don't like it. Grandma's got bed bugs. Grandpa's at Hardee's.
Grandpa's trying to fuck he goes to Carl's Jr. He's like, where's the hot broads at? This cashier's not hot. It's a 16-year-old boy with acne.
I love the idea of him saying that out loud and the 16-year-old boy being like, sir, that hurts. What would you like?
I'm on Proactive. God.
The 16-year-old boy is like, wow, it sounds like you got a lot of stress and trauma. I want to send you this podcast that's 2 Italian-American influencers who speak about spirituality. It's really good.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that the grandpa would like, too.
The Lyric Boys is a podcast that is a dense text, all right? It requires textual analysis as deep as the textual analysis we give these lyrics. Am I right?
Yes.
All right, so we've made our own lyrics. We've covered 10 Nirvana lyrics. There's not much for us to do except say, fellas, people living at home, it's time. It's time for me to tell you to subscribe and follow this podcast again, because once again, we love it. It's like the thing that it's like our big, thick, honking cow. All right, when you subscribe and follow this podcast, you don't want to know. So please do that. And also, if you want to keep the conversation going, we are on social media. We're on Tik Tok and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and we're mostly on Instagram. So if you want to DM us and say, hey, you guys got some good ideas but lots of problems, we're there to respond. So we'll be there, and we look forward to chatting with you folks. And that's also where we post like clips and things, and we love clips, we love things. So that's all I gotta say about that. Andrew, you got anything to say?
Just that if you want to hear some new and sexy music, I make it. It's not really sexy, but it is new. And it's at Freelancer on Bandcamp and also SoundCloud, and soon to be other places, I guess. Probably. We'll see. That's it.
I love how you say other places maybe. It's like as if you don't have free will.
Wherever the universe takes me, okay? Be like the water. Do not resist. If my music ends up on another platform, then that's great. And if not, bro, that's life.
All right, so we wish you the best weeks. We'll be back next Monday with another fun episode. And hey, we just hope you don't get stuck at your grandparents' house this weekend. That's what we wish